Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of Group Chat. We are talking about the first 6 months of the year and the results of the stock market. Guess what? It was not up. We are also talking about inflation, inventory challenges, crypto, Sam Bankman-Fried, or some of his friends like to call him SBF.
Yep.
And so much more. And of course, winners, losers, content. Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, we are finishing up the worst 6 months in stock market, not history, but in 50 years.
50 years is a long time. None of us are 50. So for us, it might as well be history.
And in our history, this is the worst 6 months.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I'm not hungover. I have to be optimistic that it can't get worse. I have a friend who always tells me it always can get worse.
Who's that friend?
David Choi.
I could see him using that as his mantra.
I was like, it can't get worse. He's like, it can always get worse.
I mean, that's the debate right now. If we just want to jump into markets, I think there's a clear divide whether people think this is the time to start legging in to companies that you believe are great. So we talked about this offline. Like Amazon right now,
I think it's a bad buy.
Their e-commerce business is free.
I think that's what it's worth.
What is Amazon known for the average consumer?
I don't know.
You buy shit.
Okay.
Right? But they're only getting credit for AWS right now. So the market's basically pricing their e-commerce business to zero.
That's what I think it's worth. I don't think Amazon's e-commerce business is worth what people think it is.
I think Mr. Bezos, before he stepped down as CEO, got a little aggressive in expansion, warehouse leases, and now you have the new guy. He's cutting everything.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Like, I actually think the right answer to their business, and this is my honest opinion, what I think the future of Amazon will be, is that free shipping and returns does not fucking work. It does not work. The unit economics are just terrible. And Amazon has the luxury of Prime, which I don't think is going to cover. Do you know how many times I look on my credit card statement a month of like things that are bought by Haley and then returned, bought and returned, bought, returned?
Yeah, because there's no downside in buying.
Yeah, it's free.
But the larger point is...
But I'm just saying in that...
Okay, so Prime, what's the price where people say, no, we're just not doing it?
I think we're not far from it.
What are we at, like 150 or something?
139, I think.
139.
I think you get to like 199, people are dropping it. Like, drive your ass to the store and pick it up. Who cares? Like, if you don't... For example, if you live in a densely populated part of town and where getting around is tough. So like in New York City, it's very hard to live without Amazon.
So there's 112 million US Prime members.
Yeah.
So, families, people live together. So it's pretty much the whole country.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
Yeah.
For 400 million people, obviously like a college kid's not going to have Amazon Prime, but his parents,
they use their Prime. Yeah.
So you pretty much have the whole country using Amazon, and we're just pricing it to zero.
The only hope Amazon has long term is to buy the rights to the NFL. You buy the rights. The only way you can watch NFL.
400 million Americans using Amazon every day are irrelevant.
They're irrelevant. The unit economics of that business is terrible. That's why the market...
If this is actually true, because...
It is true. Obviously, I'm making a joke out of it.
Yeah, but my point is, we can get back to Amazon, but it created an entire industry of e-commerce that never worked, but we were fooled that you can just launch an e-commerce brand and provide a better experience.
Yeah.
Because in that Amazon's whole mantra, experience, convenience, and that's what every D2C e-com business was forced to do.
Yeah.
because of Amazon, and now we have a graveyard of e-commerce businesses.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are many profitable e-commerce businesses. So to say that e-commerce doesn't work is not accurate. I just think the unit economics have to change. Free returns and exchanges are fucked. We cannot offer that. Dude, the customer takes advantage of it. Like, we have free returns and exchanges because if you buy New Republic, for example, you go on New Republic and you buy shoes. And I don't know how often I was in the warehouse, I saw some returns from Amazon. They're worn. They're worth zero to me.
Right.
Someone wore it.
And you have no recourse? You can't just get your...
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. But like, I was like, oh, what are these shoes here?
So someone just bought it, wore it to like a dinner or party, and then said, hey, they're going to take it back.
Amazon will take anything back. And then I don't know if you saw the other day, Target and Walmart are even considering not accepting returns and just say, keep the fucking thing.
Right.
Because it's cheaper to let people keep it than, like, if it's a $20 item, there's no way you can justify spending $10 returning it.
No.
Like like Target can't say, let's say you bought, I don't know, what's a $15 item? I don't know, like 5-pack
like
of
Havaiana sandals, right? Isn't that pretty cheap?
They're more, probably more than $20, $15. But like,
all right, it's
5-pack of underwear.
Yeah, deodorant or something.
Let's say, okay, you lost some weight, you got to return it. There's no way you can justify, Target can justify saying, send me back that 5-pack of underwear. It's going to cost $10 to send it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
the problem with Amazon that, like, I think Wall Street's kind of figured out. Like, these economics don't make sense. You either have to raise Prime substantially, or you have to just, or Prime is like, it's free shipping, but it's not 2 days.
Yeah, and I think that also,
not 1 day.
Like, what percent of Amazon deliveries are through Amazon trucks versus FedEx, UPS, USPS?
Vast majority now.
Vast majority.
Yeah.
So I think the business works if you're vertically integrated fully, because
not if Amazon workers start unionizing and everyone needs to get paid $25 an hour. It doesn't work. The costs are too expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, gas
the
prices.
only way I think the e-commerce narrative works longer term is warehouses get pretty damn automated. All the cars are electric. They're autonomous. And then you have, like, drones fucking dropping your shit off. If there are human beings involved and gas, it doesn't work. That's my...
Yeah, and maybe the geography of the U.S. at scale makes it really tough to be profitable.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, a country where everyone lives within a very small geographic location. Like, the U.S. is pretty freaking big. Yeah. So goods are getting transported. This is also a function of gas being at all-time high.
Yeah, and a steep increase in labor cost.
Yes. I think that's...
I saw an ad. I was driving pretty far. Oh, you want to be a truck driver? Starting at $90,000 a year.
It's a great job.
Yeah.
Not many places you could just get a license effectively. All you need to do is go pass a trucking license.
Yeah. And I know people have messaged me, oh, trucking, it takes, you understand how it works, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I mean, those are all minor details. But my point is that, like, I don't think people want to be truck drivers. So it's very, very difficult.
I mean, the way crypto is going, a lot of kids should probably be truck drivers.
Maybe in the metaverse.
Driving on Roblox.
Yeah.
Driving
people nuts. That's what they're doing.
And we touched on bullwhip a couple episodes ago. One of our close friends runs a business in the warehousing space, and he said it's bullwhip like times 100.
Yeah.
But he said leasing is at an all-time high because everyone has so much inventory. They don't have enough space to...
But that'll change literally in 90 days.
How do they just...
Let me tell you how it's going to play out. Everyone is stuffed to the brim right now. So what do you do when you're stuffed to the brim? You stop ordering. everyone has stopped ordering goods. Okay. Or drastically reduced what they're going to order for Q3, Q4. You're eventually going to sell through those goods. When you sell through those goods, your new kind of perspective of the market is that it's going to be soft. So when you place your next new order, it's going to be a lot lighter. Then all of a sudden your warehouse frees up. So it's like,
what are the people doing with those goods? If they're seasonal goods, they're out of style in the fall.
I mean, look, people are going to liquidate. People will donate. I know people that they have so much inventory, they're literally just giving it away. Free. So, and then other people are just, here's the reality. If you have excess inventory now and you're not being aggressive with it, you're putting yourself in a bad fucking place. Because there's too much inventory out there.
So freight costs should fall off a cliff by September.
The only reason why freight costs can't fall off a cliff is because of gas, oil prices.
But
even freight liners.
But in theory, the ship should be like a significantly percentage.
It's definitely dropping.
But the ship might not even be full if people aren't ordering.
No, they're pretty. I mean, they'll just cut
And we've expanded ships,
built more containers. So look, it's in the warehousing business particularly because I've been spending a lot of time there. We're in a weird spot where like real estate is still like so hot in warehousing because everyone's packed to the brim. But like obviously real estate agents always say, it's hot, everything's hot, market's hot. But they obviously aren't doing any macro analysis on the fact that like there's going to be less inventory a year from now.
But are they getting these people into long-term leases?
Well, I mean, if they do a good job, yes. But look, there'll also be a subleasing market, right? So Amazon dumping 30 million square feet tells you that like, okay, they clearly saw it in their business and they're forecasting, right? They're not just looking at today's
data. Have the most data in the country.
Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, Americans aren't spending more. But let's cut all this shit. And I think you'll see, and I talked to 3PLs, which are third-party logistics firms that do shipping for brands. They're all slow. They're not, business is not booming.
Yeah, well, most 3PL are D2C brands, right?
No, I mean,
you don't get your traditional just manufacturing.
No, I mean,
that
big retailers use 3PLs. Huge retailers. So like they're seeing data from everywhere. And look, that is more of a function of like the traditional e-commerce space. In full price retail, we talked about it. Bed Bath & Beyond came out and announced their inventory issues. Oh, we're not using air conditioning because like we're trying to cut costs. They fired the CEO yesterday. Like things will move fast. I know right this second, the warehouses are full and the costs are high. In 90 days, everyone's gonna be like, man, I don't need all this warehouse space.
Yeah.
It's going to change that fast. I don't think like...
And like the warehouse line item on a business is a big expense.
Big.
Huge. And then once they start defaulting, what happens?
I don't know. They come coming for their money.
Yeah.
But
you could put a lot of small businesses out of business.
That's what I think. That's my point is that like, I think what you're seeing with Amazon is that like, until the unit economics of e-commerce changes, and they have to lead the way, they have to put a fucking stop to 2-day shipping and free returns and exchanges. It's just, it's not doable.
Yeah. Let's see.
Prime should be 5-day shipping.
That would change a lot of
There should be Prime and Prime Plus.
I mean, then a lot of people, then brick and mortar is back if it's 5 days.
Yeah.
Like I could tell you.
Why do you think they're opening stores? They know they can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the convenience is just so insane. Like Mav has an event tomorrow for his like schooling and you have to be a superhero and just got an Aquaman outfit within like a day.
Yeah. Which the outfit costs $4 to make. They charge you $20. The shipping is $15.
But if you couldn't get it, we would go to Target.
Yeah.
But like, why would we go to Target if Aquaman comes next day?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucked.
So it'll be.
But yeah, we'll have to see how it all plays out because something has to give. Like, because other than that, the only thing you can do is just raise prices on goods, which we know there will not be an appetite for that from the consumer, given the macro environment that we're in right now. And assume that environment continues for at least a year or two. Like, people are not going to accept higher prices.
Yeah, I mean,
they've already not.
I think we're in like the massive conundrum. Meaning, like, we have no idea how this plays out, right? So if you have all this excess inventory that's already been purchased, that were based on demand from a year ago, and you had to buy super in advance, and you over-ordered because shit wasn't coming in last year.
Yeah.
And now there's pretty much no off-ramp for most of these goods. Like you said, people are giving it away for free. Then you expanded warehouse space just to keep it. Your cost structure is totally upside down.
Yeah.
And this is at scale.
I wonder if anyone will have a solution ever.
That's a teaser.
That is a teaser. That is a teaser. Big teaser. All right. Well, let's move on. Everyone talks about the usage of Robinhood decreasing dramatically in the last, 6 months, obviously with stock prices getting compressed. What is going on with this Wall Street Journal article that came out basically talking about during the GameStop craze, they basically were insolvent?
Yeah, I think we were on it the day they stopped the trading when this came out. And Congress did a full investigation. And, we shit on Congress a lot because they don't really dig in and get to the right conclusion. And what's been very clear is what we've said all along. They didn't know the funding requirements to how much liquidity you needed to have in order to keep operating at the levels they were. So they didn't know after they got to a certain volume, it triggered another increase in liquidity that they didn't have, which is why they stopped the trading. So they didn't know the rules. It's not like, oh my God, it was this black swan. Sure, it was black swanish, but they didn't know the rules. And that has been clear under the investigation. So you had Robinhood, which was like the darling of the pandemic, darling of Silicon Valley. The management team did not know the rules of how to run a brokerage.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Well, this goes back to something that I've recently experienced, looking at take the early stage startup scene and who gets backed and these founders. We love idolizing young founders, right? We love seeing a 25-year-old run a $10 billion company. And what you're realizing now is, one, running a business is very hard to impossible. Two, there's something to be said about experience that you can't understand unless you have that experience. And these people, these kind of young, brilliant people, they jump into these very disruptive old legacy businesses, and they don't know all the nuances of it.
Yeah, there's a reason why, brokerages have been around forever, because to disrupt them, if you actually play by the rules, it takes a lot of capital. It takes a lot of legal teams
and time
to actually make sure while you're growing so fast. So they were growing so fast because of free trading. Yeah. They didn't even know the rules.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on at Charles Schwab house. He's just laughing.
I mean, what's going to happen to Vlad? You can't, we called.
I said Vlad should have been asked to step down.
Yeah. It's just abundantly clear. He had no idea what he was doing. And this is at the peak of Silicon Valley had unlimited capital because we're in this liquidity flood. So they were able to raise money within 24 hours to solve it.
The real problem is the long hair. You can't.
Maybe
these founders with long hair are very questionable.
But if
I was a VC, I'd be called Short Hair Ventures.
Yeah, this is a common theme though with super fast growing companies, which They don't build out a finance team. They don't know their unit economics. They don't know the rules.
Just grow.
Grow, get to the unicorn stage. Then you hire a finance team. Then you hire a VP of finance and a CFO, and they probably walk in like, we need to get this thing public ASAP. This thing's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I had a meeting this morning with someone who's a data engineer, and I won't say what company he works at, but he was telling, I was like, wow, they just built a data team, and this is an e-commerce driven software business.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? Shopify only had a data team 3 years ago. That's what, according to him. It's like they just started building a data team 3 years ago. And you think about like a business like Shopify, that's the most valuable thing you have is the fucking data.
And this is also a lesson to entrepreneurs that you have to take your investors' advice really with the grain of salt. Because at the end of the day, it's your company, and you're the one stuck. Because the markets change, the advice changes. Last year, it was grow, do whatever you can to grow. You got to beat your competitors. And now those exact same investors are saying, hey, if you don't have profitability, we're not funding you next.
Yep.
So those same companies that listened to their investors a year ago and are fucked. And now they're saying like, where's your finance team? Why didn't you tell them to have a finance team a year ago?
Yeah.
Why aren't you expanding gross margin a year ago?
Yeah.
So the lesson is basically, if you're a founder, it's on you.
Yeah, because by the way,
and listening blindly to investors, whether institutional, whether it's Tiger Global, whether it's Silicon Valley, whether it's Andreessen, you name it, at the end of the day, their job is just to find the next best deal.
Yeah, so if you don't work out, they'll move on from you.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this today. The Atlanta Fed projected out Q2 GDP negative 1%. So we're in a recession.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of knew that.
Yeah, we know it.
We've been saying it for 6 weeks.
It's interesting because politically, everyone was saying, even big finance firms, JP Morgan, saying, maybe at the end of the year, early next year, we'll be in a recession. Is that just lip service so that people don't panic that we're in a recession? Or is it like they're that fucking stupid?
I think it's potentially, they could be that stupid. So that's definitely on the table. But maybe they're kind of doing it from the sense of like, when will average people really feel it? And maybe they're saying at the end of the year, because 1% reduction of GDP year over year, while it is contracting, it was off a high base, right? Because we were growing like crazy last year because the economy just opened up. So a 1% reduction in GDP isn't like catastrophic. But if you have like quarter after quarter after quarter, then it becomes catastrophic.
Yeah.
So that's my only...
So we know Q1 is obviously retracted. Q2 is retracting. Q3 100% is retracting.
Yep.
Q4 is retracting. So you have an entire year of negative GDP.
Yeah. So the point is, does the inflated number from a year ago, like, people still are sitting on record cash.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's so fucking confusing. That's what I'm saying. Even from what we're talking about with companies and excess inventory and like how does that flush out? How does this flush out? Like, if people are sitting on record cash, people are sitting on record refinancings that they did, like 500 billion during the pandemic. Like, home prices still haven't come down.
Yeah.
And how does this all like get fixed? I have no idea.
My guy, Michael Burry, was tweeting again.
What did he say? I didn't see today.
This is yesterday. He said
Did you delete it?
Obviously. Okay. I think everyone should delete their tweets every day.
Yeah.
He said, he tweeted out, I see a bifurcated labor market developing as unskilled and semi-skilled remain in short supply, but white-collar workers, having proven their redundancy during COVID, will find gross excess in the labor market, pressuring wages at the end. That's a really that's, to me, feels spot on.
Yep.
Which is, you can't find kind of skilled, like, that skilled blue collar labor is really, really hard to find right now. White collar management, senior management, abundant, but the wages are insane when you talk to someone like, oh, I'm a senior vice president at XYZ rando company. That person's making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unclear how effective they are. So in an environment like this, who do you hack? You're not hacking the guy that's doing the work.
Right.
You're hacking the guy with the expense account.
Yeah, you're already seeing it in technology. Ryan Peterson from Flexport said maybe we shouldn't have $400,000 engineers.
Yeah.
So that reckoning's coming.
Yeah.
In the high skilled labor, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
I know there was a conversation we were having with someone who's a current CTO and founder, and he was saying that a roommate of his who's an engineer at like a high flyer startup company making $700,000.
700,000?
Yes, base.
That's with stock though.
No,
That's his cash component.
it's her cash component.
Her cash component. And she gets stock on top?
Yes. But like I asked someone as like who's in the industry on like, how do you reconcile this? Or like, well, that person's salary is coming down in the very near future. They either have to accept it or they'll hire someone at a cheaper salary, and the stock's worth nothing because it's a high flyer. So it's like, that's what I think Michael
It's like
Burry,
a growth company. Would I have heard of it?
Yeah. And so I think what will happen is, so that like that person making 700 will go down to 400.
Yes.
Right. And
or 300.
yeah. So then the person making 400 will go down to like 250. Right. Like, so that's what I think he's talking about, is that like, and the problem is if you're used to making 700 and the company goes, hey, we're going to need to cut your salary, you're not going to accept that. So you're just going to leave, or they're going to fire you. So then you have to go find a job that's equivalent, and you won't find
You're
it.
not finding
and then you're
it.
unemployed.
So it's basically a recession of the rich.
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah,
what
like
Michael Burry's basically hinting
Yeah.
at?
I think if you are at a corporate America company and you kind of think you're useless and you get paid a lot, you should go and voluntarily reduce your salary. Like, you know what, boss? I'm not really doing shit around here.
Maybe not lead with that. Just be like, hey, I want to be a
Team
soldier.
player.
A soldier.
I see the CEOs taking $1. I can't do one, but why don't you take 20% off my salary?
Yeah, and this is where the rule of propinquity is going to come in.
Voluntarily take the pay cut and you look like a hero.
Yeah, go get your boss water, coffee, a snack. You got to do those things.
I mean, I don't, the problem is like most people have no fear of layoff yet, right? Like, unless you work at a big tech company, you're not fucking worried about it. Not even big tech, fast growing tech. Big tech, then
Big tech has hiring freezes.
Yeah.
They haven't started firing people, but they will.
Amazon will. The core principle is frugality.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend money.
Which is interesting because it seems like Bezos got off of that before he left.
It's not like there was like snacks in the fridge.
No, but in terms of like overexpansion.
Yeah.
But that shows you like even the tier 1 gold standard even missed the boat.
Yeah.
During the pandemic.
Yeah. The fact that they thought that
they misread demand.
Which is shocking that they didn't have any like, did everyone think that people would not revert back to, I guess everyone said like, there's no way you're going to want to go back into the store after COVID. Well, the first thing everyone did was back in the store.
Yeah. It's fascinating that even the best and brightest thought these were permanent changes. What do you think is, from the pandemic then, what do you think is a pandemic related permanent behavior change? Nothing?
Nothing.
I mean, gym fitness, that's a wrap. Right?
Home fitness.
Home fitness.
I
Sorry.
told everyone no one wants to work out at home.
That's
Who
a wrap.
wants to work out at home?
What else?
Zoom delivery.
Zoom's going to exist because it's just part of business.
So I think that definitely made a lasting impact. Like the idea that
Everyone wants a Zoom still.
Yeah, and by the way, like I think about how many people I meet in a day all over the world because of Zoom or Google Meets or that type of technology.
I'll say sports media changed permanently. They realized they don't need to have everyone in the studio. So you have all your top talent all over the country.
Okay, whatever. That's a fucking irrelevant.
No, but it's all media.
Okay.
It's Fox News. It's MSNBC. Like people are
Fox News, they're in the studio. They're not doing no Zoom.
but they
Fox and Newsmax, they just do it live right in front of you. You got COVID? Come on down.
You better have COVID. You better be COVID positive. You show up to Fox News. I think media and broadly changed.
Okay.
I think everyone got the theatricals done.
I think
That's on fire.
Which one?
Theaters. Everyone's like, no one's going to theaters again.
So yes, I just think it's a function of also it forced the media entertainment companies. They're like, okay, we only want to see blockbusters. Those are theater versions of the movies that people want to see, and that's it. And people are adapting. I think delivery. I mean, I haven't ordered on Postmates in like 3 weeks. 3 weeks I've not ordered one thing on Postmates. Because I look at this is what I do immediately when I go on Postmates now. I'll see something, $17.99. I'll give you an example. Across from me is a restaurant. We would always order on Postmates for pickup because it was just easy. And then 2 weeks ago, I looked at the price difference. It was $3 an item.
Oh, the actual food was more expensive.
Actual food is
not
more,
like the plus.
Everyone charges more for food on these platforms. So if you're talking about a $14.99 dish is $17.99 and you times it by 4 plus tip plus the fees, your meal is 20% higher.
$11 wrap, if you just order a wrap, is $22.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
With tax, you didn't order enough. Like, if you're a single person, you can't justify it. If you're ordering like a group, you can kind of figure out.
Yeah.
But laziness to double your food price?
No, yeah. I'll walk. I'll order. You know what I'm actually doing now? Is I've downloaded every restaurant's app. So I can order on their website or their app. It's too expensive to deliver. Yeah. I'd be shocked if Postmates and Uber Eats can survive.
They'll just be smaller businesses, right?
Yeah, it's just like for rich people.
I don't know.
Like, even think about it. What's richer than just driving around and Postmating food right now? That's the richest thing you could do.
If you drive and don't pick up your food, you pass the restaurant, you're going to pick up food from and Postmate it.
That's rich.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting yesterday in traffic from, past downtown from Vernon to my house. Traffic was horrendous. It took me like an hour. And I started doing the math on gas. I was like, what's this drive costing me right now? I assume on stop and go traffic, air conditioning, what am I getting? 12 miles to the gallon? Probably.
Sure, something like that.
Right? Something terrible. Call it 20 miles away. I think it's 20 miles away. That's $15.
Because 2 gallons, you're saying?
At least 2 gallons, right? At $14, $15. One way. Paying $30 a day in gas? Is that right? That's insane.
Which makes me realize traffic is fully back, like in LA at least. And LA probably has the highest in the country, if not right up there.
I don't know. New York is the worst I've ever seen in my life.
But no, highest gas prices.
Oh, yeah. LA definitely.
No one's carpooling? No one's figuring out how to lower the traffic. Like, shouldn't traffic by default be lower? Because people are like, I can't afford this. Like you said,
no,
$30.
They're cutting everything else because they'd rather drive in the car by themselves. I'd rather not eat out than drive with somebody.
They just want to listen to group chat all day long.
Yeah. Like, I imagine having to sit with someone in an hour car every day and you hate their guts.
You just have to have a pact. Like, hey, we just don't talk. We're just doing this to save money. You put your headphones on. I put my headphones on.
If you can have a pact, then it's great.
Yeah, or maybe one person sits in the back front, treat it like an Uber. And you alternate.
God forbid you don't like what they're listening to. You're fucked.
Well, you have headphones. Put your AirPods on.
That would be a great app. Like, it's called the Pact app. Everyone agrees on the pact on like
carpooling.
Like, if you're a smoker, you should carpool with a smoker.
Right.
Everyone who smokes cigarettes, they go in the car
And if
together.
you're-
4 people smoking cigarettes with their headphones
And
on.
if you want to like argue politics, that's your. You can
Maybe
go
that's
to-
what it is. You literally, it's a carpool app. You select all the things you want to do. Like, I am ultra MAGA. I want to smoke cigarettes. And
I may have some racial slurs.
yes, boom. Here are 600,000 people that would love to carpool with you. But I think that's carpooling is not easy because, like,
But if you're saying because you could go down the rabbit hole like Uber's business, is it viable or not? Unless it's insane, it's already way more expensive, but it has to be like significantly more expensive.
yeah, I mean, Uber's so
So
expensive.
the carpool app might be the next $1 billion company.
It really is. And it's just finding people that live near each other and work near each other. Like, I bet you if I went up and down my neighborhood, someone probably works near me and has similar hours. And we could save a lot of money if we drove together.
Waze was doing this pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
They had like the carpool option.
Yeah, but I think you have to dig deeper.
Yeah, it's like Tinder for driving.
Yeah, like, what are all the things you like to do? Like, I need to stop off at Taco Bell every day after work. Okay, cool. There's other people that want to do that. I don't want to do that, but there's...
When we worked in downtown, I stopped at 7-Eleven and got hard-boiled eggs every single morning.
Oh, I would never be in the car with the hard-boiled egg. You would actually never find anyone that in the packed app.
It's not open yet. It's still in the wrapper. I didn't eat it till I got to my desk.
I know, but that shit stinks. No one wants to be in a car with a hard-boiled egg.
It's
It's
a
like
nice
literally
meal.
someone shit their pants. All right, well, packed app is really the future.
Yeah, it's the
It really
future.
is the future. I mean, this is better than Uber.
Packed app?
Yeah. I'm going to the Laker game tonight. And I hate
If
the
Uber
Lakers. I want to
truly-
ride with someone who hates the Lakers.
If Uber truly is unaffordable in the near term, or in the long term, sorry, like UberX, what used to be $6 is now what, 13, 14?
Dude, so much more. It's like $20 to come to the office.
So,
It's 2 miles away.
so if that gets to 35, the packed app is on fire.
I don't use Uber anymore. I'll just be like, hey man, can you drop me off?
You're,
Ask Coffee here to drop me off all the time.
you're hitchhiking.
I'm hitchhiking. I need the packed app. It's too expensive. Everything's too expensive.
Yeah, I used to have Jason try. Even Jordan's done it for me. Like, hey, I gotta stop by the pharmacy,
Yeah.
pick up Mav stuff,
Yeah.
and then can you take me home?
Yeah.
Because we only had one car at the time.
And you don't want to spend $50 on
It
Uber.
would have been $50.
Yeah. The packed app.
Or you just have Jordan and Jason on call 24 hours a day.
All right, moving on. So FTX, our guy BankMan,
Mm-hmm.
he's
He's known as SBF in the
SBF.
crypto world. He is.
He
His
is.
company's FTX. He just Twitter's just SBF, SBF, SBF.
I like BankMan.
Okay,
It's just
that's more like old school Goldman
yeah.
style.
His name's BankMan.
Yeah.
He's literally a bankman because he apparently is offering to buy BlockFi for $25 million. And for those that don't know, BlockFi raised like $1 billion, right?
They raised $1 billion at $4.8 billion valuation July of 2021. It was
So they've raised 1.2, I think, total.
at the time, because I knew investors that were involved, they were jockeying. No one wanted to give their allocation. They were trying to get more allocation in this deal. It was like in the crypto space, like one of the hottest deals like ever in terms of like in that time frame.
Yeah. So what happened here? Why are they insolvent?
So they're insolvent because, you know, similar to Robinhood, they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough collateral to basically exist. So they basically sold all their customers' tokens to. So basically, this is how all these companies that were doing the lending, to simplify it, they offered you like an interest rate some were 8%, some were 12%, some were 24%.
So they lent Three Arrows Capital $1 billion, and it was over collateralized by 30%.
Yeah, and Three Arrows went under.
Yeah.
So they went under, and they didn't have like the proper requirements to make sure that their customers and the company could be solvent. And SBF, I think, gave him a $250 million line of credit last week. And then now the rumor is he's buying the whole thing for $25 million.
And they denied, right?
And the CEO of BlockFi denies it. And yeah, so that no matter what, that $1.2 billion is gone that they raised. So those investors will see zero return on capital. The customers, it's unclear what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what that number is of how deep this problem is for the customers. And it's a complete clusterfuck. And Sam, SBF, I think as aggressive as he's going, he's either going to be a legend and people are going to be writing books about him, or he's going to be in cuffs.
So I think we don't have a sense of how liquid this guy is, but he could be making a pretty insane consolidation power play. Because like, if you look at a company like Coinbase is very quiet right now. Goldman came out saying they have to cut costs further to kind of survive the downturn. We have no idea what this guy's business is. We don't know how much cash he is. We don't know anything. But he's being ultra aggressive. He could easily go, you know what? I'm going to consolidate the industry. And I'm going to get BlockFi and this Fi and that Fi and Robinhood and all these companies. I'm going to put it all under one company. And then maybe he can build something that's with all these assets that's a little bit more interesting. So
yeah, I'll tell you the stark difference between FTX and Coinbase. Coinbase from pretty much inception was like, hey, we're going to work with the regulators. We're going to be fully transparent with them. And for better or worse, you can argue today, was that the right move or not the right move? Like, Binance is much bigger. FTX, we have no idea what's going on, right? But in the long term, it seems like the right move because given what's gone on in crypto in the last 3 weeks, like regulation's coming. Yeah. So they might be the one that is the only brand left that's at least allowed to operate in the US. Because I've said this a million times on this podcast. I remember sitting in a meeting with some Coinbase folks, and at the time, this was 2018, they said of the top 10 exchanges, if the CEO stepped foot on US soil, everyone would be in jail except for Brian Armstrong. Because they violated all these securities laws and they're just like recklessly operating in the US. Every country is different. This is within the US. And Sam and FTX, SBF and FTX are in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So like, what regulation's going on there? We have no idea what FTX is or isn't. And investors who've poured in billions, because I think the last mark was 32 billion, sure, it'd be retraded today, but can you trust any of the data that he showed you?
Yeah, look, I mean, and I understand that. And I think the piece that, so there's the regulation piece that FTX and those other folks have to figure out. There's also the opportunity piece that, like, if this guy can consolidate and make a move, like, my guess, like, and a company like OpenSea is going to need money real soon.
For sure.
And it ain't going to be $13 billion valuation.
No, it'll be one.
Yeah, it'll just going to
should be made 500 million. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so whatever it is.
What's the clearing price for a platform that no one uses anymore? Can you do the math?
I mean, I feel like, I bet you they're still doing volume, some volume. It may not be nowhere near what they were doing, the billions.
Even the NFT people we all know that were super into it, from what I gather, they're just holding. They're not transacting the way they used to.
Yeah. I feel like you can look up OpenSea volume. $15 million yesterday.
A volume. So their take rate's what?
I don't know. How much does OpenSea take? I have no idea.
Couple percent? Can't be more than that, right?
They did $110 million of volume in the last 7 days. Still a lot of volume.
Okay, so they probably did like, what is that, a few million bucks last week?
You think they're taking 3%? I think they take more than that. 10%? Okay. 10%.
They take 10%. Okay. So they 10 million.
644 million over the last 30 days, which is down 67%.
10%'s a lot.
I think it's expensive. Users down. Everything's down. Every metric is down.
I'm impressed there's that much volume still.
So they've done all-time 30 billion though. Nuts.
Yeah, but to the point, I mean, they still wouldn't be valued.
No, yeah, they can't be valued what they were at.
No. I mean, they're worth more than Coinbase.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, I'm bullish on BankMan.
You are.
Yeah, I like his move.
He's just swinging.
Look, he's 29. He's got that curly hair. What has he got to lose? Fuck it. Who cares? Go for it.
Yeah, he's probably already banked. Forget what his net worth
He's
is.
bank, man.
Bankman's banked $1 billion in USD in his pockets, guaranteed. Somewhere in the world.
So cool. I think FTX is worth 30 billion.
Yeah. He's going for broke.
Roll the other 29. See what happens. Maybe you're a hero.
Yeah.
What if he saves crypto?
I mean, he's doing the most right now.
Yeah.
He's giving like at least confidence that
Someone
in a
will back it.
decentralized world, there's someone who gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And the fear
He
is
feels very Elon Musky. Like the amount of pressure this guy just put himself in.
yeah, and you know, all these things. I mean, even Tesla was a fake it till you make it, and then they became a massive company.
Yeah.
This guy could be doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's like pure willpower of like execution.
Yeah.
It's cool. Speaking of NFTs, I was meeting here, secret meeting today about the group chat NFT. And we're
Secret.
very secret.
Okay.
And we were thinking out, like, what does the experience look like? What are all the benefits to purchasers of this? And we're making some really good progress. I feel like we're going to be ready in like 30 days. Maybe we'll partner with Ledger on their new marketplace for NFTs over at market.ledger.com. Go join the wait list because you never know what's going to happen. We may be on that thing. And they have this drop that they have coming out called the Genesis drop that's going to drop this summer. But you got to be on the wait list to even find out about it. Should be exciting. Like, look, we talked about it. To me, the NFT market is still ripping. We looked at the numbers. It was 600 million last month just on OpenSea. That's one platform. There's still a ton of other platforms. I think, like, if you can communicate true value and utility and community,
yeah,
I think you're going to be in the right place. And a lot of this is really about that relationship with your consumer. In our case, our listener. Like, how do you crystallize that community? Like, how do you tell someone that you are a fan of something? Like, you know, you wear a Lakers hat or, you know, whatever. That's like you showing your fandom for the Lakers. And so if you think about all these subcultures that are happening, they're all going to need a way to represent, and not everyone can make apparel work. So I think like that's where NFTs really kind of sit. And I think that's what group chat's going to do with its NFT. And Ledger's a great place to do it. Head over to market.ledger.com, get on the wait list, and you never know what you might see there. I'll tell you who's not banking, man. Restoration Hardware.
Yeah.
Sales are down, single digits still, but this is their second forecast cut in weeks. They announced their earnings and basically said that the rest of the year is going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't even earnings. This is just them getting in front of it 2 times in 1 month.
Yeah.
And they cited luxury home sales are down 18%.
Yep.
And, you know, not many people in the market for $10,000 couches.
You don't say.
We're talking about you want to go pick up your Postmates. Who's buying $10,000 couches?
Yeah, I mean, and my guess is that, like, I mean, the only thing I could say, does Restoration Hardware react more like a luxury apparel business? where like the ultra high net worth people are still, not, I guess restoration is not ultra high net worth people, just high net worth people
Yeah.
are just, they want something, they'll go spend the money? Or does this mean Restoration Hardware is about to have a huge sale and we get to pick up a cloud couch for 50% off?
I would love that. So March of 2020, let's see. So right before the market crashed, Restoration Hardware was about $212 a share.
What did it bottom out at? 75, right?
Yeah, bottom out like 75 and got up to
700?
740, looks like. There's around there. And now is back to 212.
So basically has done nothing.
It's flat since pre-pandemic, which is probably right.
Yeah.
Like the business was fine then. It's fine now. Don't you think?
Yeah. It just, basically the last 2 years didn't happen for every company.
Yeah.
As long as you can accept that, you're in great shape. Market cap is now $5.2 billion for Restoration Hardware. I think Restoration Hardware is such a damn good brand. And then they could, like, they have, I think, 14 restaurants inside.
Right, like the rooftop and that stuff.
Yeah, like in New York and
people
other
like
cities.
go work there. It's like a Soho house.
Yeah, I don't know. In LA, they don't have a restaurant, don't they?
They don't have a restaurant.
They just have
people can hang out on the roof.
It's a public park. That's why. That's why the city of West Hollywood allowed it.
Oh, nice.
So if anyone wants,
we should just sleep there.
You can literally go up to the top of the Restoration Hardware in Melrose and hang out there, and they cannot kick you out.
And you go take a nap.
You can take a nap. It's a public park. But it's such a lifestyle brand to me. Like, I could see in like the next upswing, they're doing hotels, they're doing more restaurants, they're doing coffee shops. Like Restoration Hardware, the look and the feel is such a lifestyle. And I feel like they have such awesome opportunities for brand extension.
Yeah. And, similar to the iPhone, don't get intimidated by the price. They have great payment plans.
Oh.
You can take 2 years.
Take 2 years?
Yeah, we built out Vivian's entire room with payment plans.
Wow.
0% interest.
0%? How are they offering 0%? That was, I guess, then. Now it's not 0%.
Yeah, maybe not. Back then, they had to give us replacement furniture because it was taking so long for the shit that we actually ordered.
That's crazy. That's a bad business. You have to come pick it up?
Yeah, at that point, they didn't care. I have immense respect since we've ordered Restoration Hardware for the delivery folks. Like what they have to pull off, like getting these things.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all measured for like standard US homes.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
All right. Well, let's see. I want to see the Restoration Hardware sale.
Imagine being a Restoration Hardware worker in New York City. Can you think of a tougher job?
Some asshole in the penthouse with no fucking elevator says, I just ordered 12 couches.
Right.
Woo. That's a rough job. All right, moving on. So big sports news. That's not live. These are two huge news pieces. If you are a college football fan, you can appreciate this. USC and UCLA, which are obviously Los Angeles-based college sports programs, are leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. Big Ten has like 23 teams, and it's still called the Big Ten.
Yeah, so I think they'll have 16 after this. And then there's reports that they're going after Arizona State.
So they're the live of college football.
They want a 20-team super conference, is what the rumors are.
But what's like the real?
My guess is TV contract.
It's just gonna be so big.
Yeah,
and now USC's the hottest.
I mean, with USC, you have Lincoln Riley and the NIL. And for people who don't know, NIL, that's athletes get to be paid to play college football.
Yeah.
So there's
college sports.
There's a kid in Miami who's making $10 million.
Yeah.
From University of Miami, NIL.
That's
or
amazing.
whatever surrounding businesses.
Yeah.
$10 million.
Why would you want to be a pro athlete? I'd rather be in college forever.
I mean, you're gonna see kids stay the full 5 years.
I would stay 5 years and retire and never play professional sports.
Yeah, if you can clear
like
30
imagine if you do 5 years making 10 million, be like, I'm done. I made $50 million.
Like-
I'm 23 years old.
So H Wood signed a high school kid
Yeah.
to Slab. I don't
Yeah.
know what they paid,
Yeah.
but he's what is he, 17, 16? If that kid comes to USC, starts right away next year, wins 4 titles, he's clearing 30 million.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Dude, why
If
would
he
you
wins
want
4 NCAA titles, he's getting make 50 million.
And by the way, if you only play college and don't play pro, think about your health of your
Yeah.
like CTE. Like a college quarterback isn't getting nailed like an NFL quarterback.
The receivers are, the quarterbacks aren't getting touched.
Yeah. Great.
If you have a great O-line,
Yeah.
you're not getting touched.
If I was a college quarterback, I chip off the O-line.
Yeah, just like in the NFL, they
Yeah.
give them Rolexes and
I
whatnot.
give the guy making 10 million, give each of these guys $100,000 each to make sure I'm good. I'd leave the sport. I'd retire.
This is such a fascinating experiment because you have now 17-year-old kids walking in making $10 million. Okay, I don't know if people thought NIL would get this ridiculous, right? And everyone thought college athletes should be paid, but it was more like $10K a month, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much is Caleb Williams, a quarterback of USC, next year going to make?
Well, I know. I think they were projecting like $1.5 million or something like that.
But if he starts winning,
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's the face of college football.
yeah. If we're 6-0 by October,
He's getting deals.
yes.
I mean, imagine you're like 18, you're making 10 million, and you have to listen to anybody.
Yeah, that's also the point. Like, dude, the reason why a lot of these guys made it is they literally had nothing. Like, Giannis wouldn't be Giannis if he grew up in Brentwood.
Yeah,
He was a shopkeeper in Greece,
yeah,
and this was his way out.
yeah.
So he dedicated his entire like childhood or whatever, his teens, and then obviously adulthood to the sport and lifting weights and this
Maybe
and that.
college football is where it's at, and the NFL is just done. College football is
I mean,
amazing.
think about how many kids are not going to train hard enough to get to the NFL
yeah,
because you made $20 million.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're 18 and you know you're making $10 million, you're not in the gym at 4 a.m, 5 a.m.
Well, you're at the club.
Exactly. You're coming home you're at the after hours.
I mean, H-Wood might have a record here if all these USC kids walk around making 15 million, 10 million.
I mean, the USC kids, when we were in college, at least after you left, when I was still there, were the club scene.
Yeah.
Wherever they were was like the hot spot.
Yeah, and they didn't have money for drink. They're
No,
getting
they were just
free
getting
drinks,
free
free
everything.
tables, whatever.
The football players,
Yeah.
not the USC
Yeah.
kids. And ESPN did a 40 for 40 or 30 for 30, 30
yeah.
for 30 on it.
Yeah.
Like Leinart and Reggie Bush ran LA.
Yeah. It was a good times. All right. Well, I'm excited. I think sports are in a great place. Between Live and the Big Ten, I like the Big Ten for standing firm on not changing their name.
They might have to if they have 20 teams.
Big 20?
Big 20. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting what the SEC does because that is the best conference. They win every national title. And now you have USC and Ohio State and Michigan all in the same conference.
That's hot.
That's crazy.
So, like, USC and Michigan and Ohio State are going to play each other.
Yeah, they have to.
That's great.
Well,
I
they may have to
did go to
alternate.
a USC game at Ohio State once. Not a friendly bunch. Very angry that we kicked their ass
Yeah.
with a freshman quarterback.
I've
right.
been to Michigan. Games,
Yeah, I've
they're
been to a
friendly.
Yeah, I think Ohio is just a little angrier over there.
Yeah, drama.
Another big sports news. I think this is really big. Logan Paul has now signed a WWE contract. What a great move by WWE.
And a slap in the face to Dana White.
Yeah. Dana White really just, I'm sure for ego reasons, can't sign Logan Paul because he disparaged him so much. But man, I mean, Logan Paul is just going to bring in the next generation of wrestling fans. all these younger fans who I'm sure were engaging.
Did they say how big the deal is?
No. I'm just a
It
publicly
has
traded
to
company.
be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that
I'm
much.
just impressed how committed they are to this fighting stuff, because even the WWE's like acting, they still get hurt. Like, you've seen the stories about these guys.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Owen Hart die in the ring? I forget if that's the right name.
I don't know. I don't know anything about
But that was
wrestling.
like 20 years ago. But
Okay.
still, but like, I mean, you're still putting your body at risk, and
Okay.
good for him.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into winners, losers, and content. Anand, who is your winner of the week?
My winner is the NBA. So it's supposed to be dead season. NBA Finals just happened, and it's in complete chaos the night before free agency because Kevin Durant wants a trade, and my entire Twitter feed, from diehard sports fans to not diehard sports fans, are all talking about it, joking about it, and they stay in the press, and they're getting all the impressions.
Yep.
More than any sport, where like kind of when a month away from NFL training camp. Obviously NFL is a bigger sport, but the NBA somehow dominates this like summer news cycle every year because these players just want to keep changing teams, and it's the biggest stars in the league.
Yeah, I think the thing about NBA, it's interesting. Like, I find myself paying attention more to the NBA in the offseason than during the season. Like, I didn't watch one regular season game all year.
Yeah, because this is more fun.
How do you bring that energy into, you got to like, I think specifically the NBA needs to like figure out, in baseball, like need to reinvigorate the regular
baseball's
season.
just toast.
It's just too long.
I mean, I don't know. Like, so Major League Baseball has the modern day Babe Ruth.
Who's that?
Ohtani.
Okay.
He pitches, he strikes everyone out, then he goes and hits home runs.
That guy pitches too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's like ace. He's like,
He's not American though. That's why.
and no one cares.
Yeah.
You have honestly,
He should sign with Live Golf.
he's the greatest talent in the history of Major League Baseball, playing
Where does he play for?
Anaheim Angels.
He plays for the Angels?
Yeah.
He's down the street and we don't know who this guy is.
You don't, but everyone else does. And they have Mike Trout, who is the second greatest player of all time. You have the two greatest
Are they
players.
even good?
No, they're under 500. Which I don't understand too. That's a structural problem with baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking out of pocket. I have plenty of friends who played in Major League Baseball. These are the two greatest players of all time.
Wow. What about Babe Ruth?
He didn't run as fast as these guys.
Yeah, he was an alcoholic. That's crazy that guy plays for the Angels.
But you know what's also crazy is his endorsement deals, because Japan will just endlessly pay for him.
Yeah.
I've heard it's 7x the number 2 person in MLB.
Yeah.
And he refuses to do media. He doesn't want to be face. He chose the Angels because he didn't want to be that famous in the U.S.
Smart, because nobody knows any player on the Angels. I don't even know he plays there. And he's probably the highest paid athlete in L.A.
If Ohtani walked up to Nobu Malibu for 4th of July and
No chance
Parker's
he's
at
getting
the door,
No chance he's getting in.
Parker just tells him to kick rocks.
Like, who's this big ass dude? Get out of here. There's no way he gets into the party.
That's good.
Unless Brian's at the door. Maybe
Brian would recognize him.
I don't know if Brian knows what he looks like.
Cherish has no clue who he is.
Yeah. No way. I know the name. But
Yeah.
I have no idea what he looks like.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My winner is just sports in general. We're heading into this like deep, dark recession. Sports looks like it's spending money more than ever. Russell Westbrook is making $47 million.
Yeah.
Last I checked, he's not that good.
He had a bad season.
$47 million is pretty dope to be mediocre.
Yeah, the numbers are crazy.
I love, it's interesting, like this concept of having a contract. Like in California, you're in at-will employment, right? Your employer can fire you at any time. You're not, and then you're guaranteed nothing. In sports, you're given, obviously, because you have like some God-given talent. They're giving you some sort of guarantee. But it's an interesting, I was trying to think of the parallel, like, well, CEOs get it, but like nobody else in the workforce can get a contract can be upheld in any stretch of the imagination.
Wait, so what are you trying to say?
So like, let's say you're a warehouse manager.
Okay.
Okay. You can go sign a 5-year deal guaranteeing you $100,000 a year, which is kind of crazy.
So who's winning is what you're saying.
The winning is in this case is the employer, but in sports, the employer loses because you're signing a 5-year guarantee and you're not guaranteed that the
performance is consistent or they stay healthy.
Yeah.
Or any of these things.
Yeah, I don't want to play.
For most of the cases, outside of LeBron or Steph Curry, these contracts don't work.
Yeah. The mega large ones. So like Steph, LeBron, yes, you pay that all day. Even Durant, you pay that all day. Yeah.
Giannis, you pay it. You're having 5 guys.
My guy on the Angels, you pay it all day.
You pay him. No, they don't win though.
Yeah. Actually, the Angels should cut him. What's the point? If you're just going to lose, does anyone go to an Angels game?
I haven't. It's just fascinating to me. They have 2 of the greatest players of all time and no one cares.
That sucks.
And Mike Trout famously doesn't want to do press, or it's
ironically,
they need a David Stern, because what David Stern did for the NBA
made it sexy.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, like if Trout has like a $300+ million contract, you gotta go do media. You gotta go you gotta be on TV. You have to
be on TikTok.
Yeah, you look at the NBA. Everyone knows what Chris Paul looks like. He's on State Farm every other commercial.
Yeah.
Same with Steph Curry when he was coming up. You gotta force. NBA's not even forcing them to do it. It's just like known.
Yeah,
you gotta be a steward of the league.
Yeah,
because like if those guys weren't doing commercials and selling shoes, guess what? The sport's not as popular.
Yeah,
and there's nothing in the MLB.
It's crazy. All right, who's your loser?
My loser is the courts. Like especially with respect to the abortion stuff, I got this text from a friend who runs HR for a company, and and she's a founder, and the employers who want to pay for the travel and stuff for people who want to get abortion. So like, a bunch of Fortune 100 companies said, if you live in a state where there's no abortion, we'll pay for you to travel to go get your abortion, right? And they're being told by their insurance broker that a lot of states are trying to close the travel loophole. There are real legal ramifications you have to consider when helping employees obtain abortions in other states. So if insurance companies are telling the states you're open for liability, if they do end up getting sued by the state or whatnot, the insurance company is saying we're not to cover, and maybe all this is just like kind of like they get goodwill for the press of saying you're doing it, but it's actually not enforceable. Yeah. Meaning you aren't able to get someone from Mississippi, take them to California or wherever and get an abortion.
Wow.
That's insane.
That is crazy. There's been so many kind of decisions by the Supreme Court in the last week.
Yeah.
I don't even think people know how to operate yet.
Yeah, and what's really scary is, so the Supreme Court's going on recess for 4 months.
That's a nice little holiday.
Yeah, 4 months is nice.
Yeah.
And
what are they, a teacher? 4 months? Your Supreme Court gets 4 months off?
The Supreme.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
So in that time, they have circuit courts, so by region, that if there's an emergency, the circuit court gets to decide. And we know Republicans have just packed the courts for the last
Trump did a great job with years. Every 5 minutes he was nominating a court judge.
Yeah, but you're going to have emergency decisions in a lot of these cases, because if you're talking life and death, things are going to get ruled on in these 4 months.
They can't call these guys back?
No, they're on vacation.
I mean, where are they going? Where's Brett Kavanaugh going for vacation?
He's going to the Keys.
He's definitely going to the Keys. Give me a beer. All right. I'm curious to see. My loser is rap.
Okay.
And the reason being is that I was thinking about like at this current moment, it does not feel like musically a rap moment. Like it definitely feels like there's a more shift to house music and other genres of music.
Pretty big cycle change.
And I think it's self-inflicted with the violence that's happened in within the rap community. Like it's kind of sad. Like the amount of the most talented stars are not alive.
Yeah, Juice World.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke. I listen to Pop Smoke every single day still. Like I think about that, or Triple X, or all these musicians that are so ultra talented that didn't even get to experience their prime, that are still have music that people listen to every single day. And then now you have all these arrests happening, and like there's a lot of crime in the community. Like it's kind of sad. Like the genre kind of killed itself.
Yeah,
like
it's
I think
scary.
like look, there's still big
like
artists.
Even Shaka Ludacris's guy got shot last week.
Insane.
And he's kind of royalty, right?
Yeah. And so it's just interesting to see that, like, how does this genre like stabilize and like go back to like growing again? Like it has to be like a decision by, I don't know if it's because it's not like centralized, right? It's the Wild Wild West. But like, unfortunately, the genre, and you know, house music kind of felt that too when like Avicii OD'd and like some of these stars just died. And
well, house music, I think, just was in America, went down and never left Europe.
Yeah.
And Asia.
Yeah, I think it got oversaturated here, and like it didn't evolve.
Yeah, because in the US, every single weekend we Greedy American Pigs booked every DJ every week. Yeah. So it was never like
a special
moment to go.
You could see Calvin Harris anytime you wanted.
Every week.
Yeah. And I think like, I'm just thinking from a music, as someone that listens to a lot of music, like it's just interesting when you look at like the genre of rap, like it feels like it lost its moment.
And Drake, the biggest star, didn't even put out a rap album.
Yeah. Put a house music album.
That's a good signal.
Yeah.
That he even kind of was like, maybe I'll do features and rap, but yeah, I want to move on to something else.
I think the genre will be fine long term, but it does feel like it's in this weird moment. And I'm sure some tours will be fine. The biggest artist will always be the biggest artist and whatever. But like, I think it hurts for like an up and comer. Someone needs to come, a new young artist needs to be like revolutionary, like how a Kendrick or a Drake or J. Cole, or, you know, how Eminem was 20 some odd year, 50 Cent, or, you know, those artists were like created a lot of excitement in the genre. So as just a rap fan, I want to see that happen again, but I don't know what that is. I don't think, unfortunately, your boy Jack or Harlow can hold it down.
My guy needs to start drinking and smoking again.
He stopped all that.
Yeah, he said he wants to be focused.
What is he, a math teacher? I thought he's a rapper.
Yeah, if you're a rapper, you got to get creative.
Yeah. All right. Content recommendation.
The Elvis movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolutely incredible.
Wow. I heard a lot of mixed reviews on it.
Who's mixed?
I've been just reading about it.
No, the movie's phenomenal. So it's Tom Hanks, and then Austin Butler plays Elvis. And I didn't know much about him other than he had famous girlfriends. But that dude is incredible. He's a superstar. Okay. And he got like fully kind of Heath Ledger style, got in the character to the point where they were saying like even offset he was talking like Elvis. And he did a phenomenal job. And the movie's great. And I didn't know, I don't want to spoil it because I don't know what people know about the Elvis generation is like how racially charged his whole existence was.
Yeah.
I had no idea about any of that stuff. And it's fascinating. He's pretty bold to do what he did back then.
Yeah. No, and I'm like, I actually really like Elvis's music. I think it's great.
But you know what's funny is like, because the history of it is he's so iconic, right? Yep. Of an artist. But then I feel like it's been watered down so much because of Vegas. Like I went and got an Elvis wedding for our wedding anniversary, and it was kind of a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're just treating Elvis.
Well, he was just so big that like people just like just
Exploited it.
yeah, that's the problem with everything. We're just so good at just ruining great things.
Yeah, like the joke in Vegas is like Elvis Presley,
Yeah.
go get the Elvis wedding. Like it's like
I mean, the fact, just think about it, like he was relevant, what, 50, 60 years ago?
yeah.
And there's still Elvis impersonators on the strip.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. Content for me is, I'm not watching anything in the theaters or anything like that, but finally got to see, I was excited to see the new Bond movie, which I don't know if it came out a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I watched it
I saw it on
in the
Prime.
theater.
Loved it.
It's great.
A little violent, like a little excessively violent, like maybe 7,000 people were killed, but like I really enjoyed it. This might have been my content recommendation 2 weeks ago too.
I think you talked about it, but yeah, it's good.
It just took me like a week to watch it. I was watching in like 20-minute increments. So I finally finished it and I liked it. I'm actually looking for a movie to watch. Any movie.
But you won't go to theaters.
I refuse to go to the theaters. But I'm looking for, I'm okay with violence. Oh, you know what I did watch? The Man from Toronto, which is the new Kevin Hart movie. Unbelievable.
What's it on?
Netflix. It's Woody Harrelson and Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Unbelievable movie.
Kevin Hart just doesn't stop putting content out.
No, and like he knows his genre and he just delivers the basics. Makes you laugh.
Definitely the basics.
Yeah, it's good. I think he's great. All right. Do we have anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, everyone. Happy July 4th weekend. I'm curious to see, are people driving this weekend? Are you going to the normal place you drive to with these gas prices? Or do you just continue on how you would normally celebrate July 4th? Maybe you cut down a hot dog or two. Instead of a 6-pack, you have a 5-pack. We'll see.
Report back
To all of us. We are not coming back till Tuesday.
Yep.
So everyone enjoy the long weekend. Happy birthday, America.
Go see Top Gun if you haven't. It's your patriotic duty for 4th of July.
I'm curious. Are people going to be wearing American flag stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
I mean, I would, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like a lot of people are just negative right now.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
I used to have a great flag t-shirt and I can't find it. It really pisses me off. All right. Well, enjoy the weekend. Stay cool. It's hot out there. Bye-bye.
Peace.